Today we will be learning basic geometry constructions. What you will need is a straight edge, I just used a calculator cover, a pencil, and a compass. Our first construction is congruent line segments. First, start by making 2 lines. Put 2 points on the first line, which we'll call A and B. And put 1 point on the second line, C. By using the pointy part of your compass, also known as the needle, put that on point A and measure by putting the lead of your pencil on point B. Now, without changing the angle of the compass, put the needle on point C and make an arc that intersects the line. This will be point D. Now we have 2 congruent line segments. Now let's make sure we got the hang of it. So we've got our lines and our points. Measure it out, make our arc, and at the intersection, make a point. Now we have 2 more congruent line segments. Our second construction is congruent angles. Start by making 1 angle. It doesn't matter the size. And then off to the side, make a line segment. Put the needle of your compass on the vertex of the first angle and make an arc that intersects each side. Now put the needle on the endmost part of the segment and make an arc that will definitely intersect the second side. Now, doing the same thing we did in the line segment, measure from one arc intersection to the other arc intersection. Without changing the angle, make a slight arc that intersects with the first arc. Make a point. Now connect the points to make a vertex of the angle. Now I have 2 congruent angles. Okay, let's try again. So we have an angle, a line segment. Now we'll make an arc, and it doesn't matter the size of the arc either. Make a second arc. Measure out the first arc. Form an intersection. And connect our 2 points. Now we are going to make an angle bisector. Start by making 1 angle. Then, using any size arc, make an arc that intersects each side of the angle. Now, putting your point on one of the intersections, make an arc above the arc you just made, and do the same on the other side. Draw a point at the 2 arcs intersections, and then connect the vertex with the point. Now we have an evenly split angle. Okay, so let's practice one more time. So we'll make our angle. Now make our arc. And put the needle on one of the intersections. And then do the same on the other side. Now we connect our 2 points, and we have an angle bisector. Next, we'll move on to perpendicular lines. We will be drawing a perpendicular line to a point on the line. So start by making a line and make a point on it. Put your needle on the point and make 2 arcs that are the same distance away from the point on both sides of the point. And make sure they intersect the line. And where they intersect the line, draw an arc above the line. And do the same on the other side, just like we did in the angle bisector. And now connect the two. The 2 lines form a right angle, which is a perpendicular line. Now that we know how to do it, let's do it again. Make a line, put a point anywhere on it, and then make our arcs on both sides. Make our intersecting arcs, and then connect the two. Still dealing with perpendicular lines, we will now be making a perpendicular line to a point not on the line. So start by making a line and put a point anywhere except for on the line. Now put your needle on the point and make 2 arcs on the line that are the same distance away from the point. Doing the same thing we did before, make 2 arcs using the first arc's intersections. But make sure they are below the point and the line. Connect the 2 points to form a right angle. Here's another example. So we'll draw a line and a point. Make our arc intersection and then connect the 2 to form a perpendicular line. Now we'll learn how to make an equilateral triangle. Start by making a line segment and put a point on both ends. Doing the same thing we did for congruent segments, measure out the length of the segment. And without changing it, make an arc above the line. And do the same thing on the other side. Now make a point at the intersection and connect the point to both points on the line. Now we have 3 equal length sides, an equilateral triangle. Here's another example. So we'll draw a line and put a point on both ends. Measure out the line. Make our 2 arcs intersection. And then connect our point to the other 2 points. Next, we will be making a regular hexagon inscribed in a circle. So begin by making just a circle of any size. Now draw a point anywhere on the circle. Don't change the radius of the circle or the angle of the compass, and then put your needle on the point and make an arc in either direction. To continue, put your point on the intersection of the arc in the circle and make another arc, and continue to do that. If done correctly, on your sixth arc, it should intersect with the point. Now, you don't have to draw points on all the intersections, but I like to for an easy visual. And then take your straight edge and connect the points on the outside. Now we have 6 congruent sides and 6 congruent angles, also known as a regular hexagon. Here's another demonstration. So we'll start with our circle. And then put a point anywhere on the outside of it. Without changing the angle of our compass, make arcs going along the circle. And finally, as the point intersects the arc, we can connect all of the intersections to make a regular hexagon. Next, we'll be making an inscribed triangle. So start by making a triangle, and then putting the needle on any point, make 2 arcs above and below the point. And then go to a different point and do the same thing, but make sure they intersect the previous arcs. So we basically just made a perpendicular line to that side of the triangle. And then make a line through both points. Now make a perpendicular line to a different side of the triangle. It doesn't matter which one. So we'll make our arcs and make sure they intersect each other. And then connect the two using a straight edge. Put your needle where the two perpendicular lines intersect. At any given point, they should be the same distance away from that intersection. Now, keeping the needle on that point, make a circle. As you can see, the triangle only touches the circle 3 times. We know how to do it, so let's try it again. We'll start with our triangle. Make the perpendicular line segments. And again, it doesn't matter which sides you use. Connect the two. Now do the same with the different side. Again, putting the needle on the point where they intersect. Each vertex of the triangle should be the same distance away from the intersection. Now we'll make our circle. And we have an inscribed triangle. Now that we made an inscribed triangle, let's try a circumscribed triangle. Start by just making a triangle of any shape. And then form an angle bisector in 2 of the 3 angles of the triangle. So we've got one, now let's make another one. And make sure that when you form the angle bisector, it intersects with the other side of the triangle. So again, putting your needle on the intersection and measuring out to where the angle bisector intersects with the opposite side of the triangle. Form a circle. Each side of the circle should only touch the triangle 3 times. Okay, so let's try it again. So we'll make our triangle and our angle bisectors. And then connect the two and make sure it intersects with the other side of the triangle. And do the same with another angle. Make our line. And where the points intersect, we'll put our needle and then measure out to the end, right there. And wherever the point, it should always stay inside of the triangle and only touch the triangle 3 times. So soon we will have a circumscribed triangle. And that concludes today's lesson.